You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.
Welcome to Get Biz, Do Biz, Get Paid. I am your host, Luan the Don. In this show, we're going to interview successful business owners in construction and construction coaches. We're going to find out what it really takes to win in the construction industry, what it really takes to make a lot of money, have a great life, and be able to do the thing that you wanted to do. Enjoy. Hey, it's your boy Luan back again with another episode of Get Biz, Do Biz, Get Paid. Today, back again with a lot of requests, a lot of great feedback, a lot of inspirational messages that I hear from bringing on this guest. It's in the start of my podcast. So we didn't really get a chance to dive really deep in what he did. I mean, we kind of touched a little bit there, but the last episode was very spiritual. You know, just kind of get you in the feel of being in your purpose. But today, I'm bringing this guest back because I want to talk more about what he does and what he provides to the marketplace and how that can be of value to you when you are trying to build your brand, when you're trying to put your name out there, when you're trying to make money. And with that, welcome back, my friend, my coach, my brother Clifton Muckenfuss.
Luan, my friend, it's great to see you today, buddy. I'm excited to be back on the podcast. You said it. Our first episode was there was a spiritual movement, if you will. We went deep on some things, and Holy Spirit was really moving in that episode, but I'm excited today to really dive into some tactical business strategies, some things that can help business owners generate referrals, generate repeat business, generate reviews, and really grow their business. So I'm excited to be back with you, man.
Well, man, the last time we record the episode, I think it was downtime, right? Winter season, can get nothing to do, got a little bit of time to do some soul searching. But right now, as you know, and if you are in even exterior or interior, almost things are starting to pick up. Leads are starting to flow in. Some might get a little bit of success about sales, and and some they still don't have lead coming in. But what is your advice in strategizing this year? How can we be different? How can we show up differently than everybody else? How can we set ourselves apart from the marketplace? I know this is a loaded question, but there's a lot to go into here. So I'm just gonna start out with that.
It's a great question, and we can take this conversation in many different ways, but I'll start with how can we be different? You know, Luan, I do business coaching and consulting for a living. I also own a relationship marketing agency, which we'll talk about as well. But here's the reality. Unless you have 100% market share in your area and in your industry, which is very unlikely, you've got competition, right? And so if company A does the same thing as company B and company C, they offer siding, roofing, windows, doors, and decks as an example. So three companies, they offer about the same products. They offer about the same installation because everybody's doing everything according to manufacturer specifications. They have about the same warranty. They have about the same reputation. What happens if we show up like that like everyone else. What do we actually force the homeowner to do? We force them to buy on price. Because there is nothing that separates us. There's nothing that helps us stand apart. And we know, Luan, that when homeowners make decisions to hire contractors based on price alone, the probability that that project or that homeowner is going to have a negative experience increases significantly. We also know that courts are riddled with cases of dissatisfied homeowners with contractors, and likely because they made a decision to go with low price. And so the point of that is you have to show up different. How can you create that memorable experience? What are the things that you can do from the time that the inbound call or the inbound lead comes in up to the sales appointment? What are the things that you can do to stand out differently? That's what we have to start thinking about. We have to be memorable. Luan, you know this. You've got kids. You're a business owner. Like, we forget people that we meet 30 seconds after meeting them. Why? Because we're distracted, because we're busy, right? And so what happens is you go meet with a homeowner, and if you've done nothing different leading up to that meeting, after the meeting, that homeowner is already going to forget you. And so we help business owners stand out, right? Leading up to, and it's all part of that client experience and client journey. But that's what we have to do. We got to stand out. We have to be different. Competition.
So you say so in let me see if I get this right. So what you basically told me that we, even though me and like 30 other DAX builder here, we do the same stuff. But if I want to be different, then I have to focus so much on my client experience that they cannot forget about me. Let me just make sure I get that right. Right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And here's the other thing. Whenever you do business with someone, we've got to over deliver on the experience. So after the fact, we've done business with them. So now we've delivered an experience that is so incredible and so unlike anything else that they've expected. Now we've created a raving fan in the marketplace. So now that customer is going out and telling their friends, their family, their coworkers, their colleagues. And so now we've got other cheerleaders out in the marketplace that are referring people to us, which again, we know that referrals convert at a higher rate. We know that they buy at a higher price, less objections, right? But all of that's part of that client experience before, during, and then, of course, after.
So good, so good. And people always talk about branding, right? And building brand equity, building got to build my brand. Well, this is it, guy. This is building your brand in the most basic term. You depositing reputation and goodwill into the marketplace. Like, it's a intangible thing, right? It's not really about the logo. It's not really about, I if you have a good brand, doesn't matter. You can swap our logo and still be a good brand because you already have a promise to the marketplace, and this is the experience that people is gonna get. So, what the reason why I brought Clifton on here is I think there's a missing mentality in the construction space, right? There is a mentality of, price focused, transactional, one and done kind of deal. But any sustainable business that I've worked in and I have been a part of has a recurring way of revenue. Uh, and uh, and some call that LTV, some call that some fancy name that you don't understand. It's just people coming back to you. That's how you have a good business, right? So how Clifton, how do you get people to keep coming back and yelling your name, and matter of fact doing all the necessary marketing for you, but that nobody can measure that because it's your client, right? So how can you do that, without going online, going crazy, uh, running a bunch of brand awareness ad, stuff that other people can see, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I want to touch on a couple of things there. And you mentioned building brand equity, right? So many people, business owners, get so wrapped up in their logo, their colors, their slogan, their tagline, and all of that. And while that's important, because awareness and you've got a congruent message, I actually tell people to focus more on their identity, right? What they do, why they do it, why they're better than their competition, and what people can expect from that company when they do business with them. And so we're building an identity in the marketplace. And you mentioned intangible, which is so key here. And I think the listeners really need to focus in on that, because if you have a desire to possibly one day sell your company, you have to focus on intangible assets, right? Not necessarily your tangible assets. I mean, plant, property, equipment, inventory, things like that. But intangible assets can make up to 65% of the value of your company. That is your goodwill. That's the percentage of your business that comes by way of referrals, by way of repeat business, your online reputation, your database, those intangible assets. And so we need to start focusing less on what our brand looks like and instead focusing on what the identity stands for, right? And so if we kind of shift our mindset to that, then we can really start to understand how we generate leads long term, right? You've got really two popular, but I'm going to introduce you to a third types of marketing. You've got direct response, right? You've got marketing that a company puts out that is intended to invoke a response, an immediate response, right? So think about your paid ads and things like that, Google, Facebook ads, those types of things, direct response. You've got organic marketing, right? You've got your SEO and your blogging and stuff like that, where you're creating content and you're putting it out into the marketplace and onto the internet, and it organically attracts people. And then what I believe is the third most powerful marketing strategy is relationship marketing. Because if you invest into the people that have already trusted you, they know you, they like you, they trust you, they've already done business with you. It's like selling to friends. Too many business owners are out here chasing the next deal. Man, you know how hard it is to convince a stranger to buy something from you? It's much more fun and easier to sell to your friends. And what I mean by a relationship marketing strategy, Luan, is a strategy that is designed to increase client retention, customer lifetime value, reduce attrition, increase referrals, increase repeat business, increase reviews. And how we do that is a couple of different ways. There's old school ways, there's new school ways, and what we've done, Luan, back in 21, when I sold my construction company, leading up to that, I had to wrap my mind around this. And that's why I get so passionate about it, because up until about 2019, 18, I was like, hey, we're gonna go knock on some doors. We might do some ads, some Google ads and Angie's List and all of that, because again, I was chasing the next deal. But I went deeper and I said, you know what? Look, how can we take one customer and convert that into 5, maybe 10? What do we need to do? And so it was really this tipping point for us. We had been getting a pretty good steady flow of referrals. And I got an appointment, had an appointment scheduled. I was driving down this road. It was a referral. And I looked over, and you've maybe heard me tell this story before. And I looked over at the home that had given us the referral. Something looked different about the house. I know we had done the siding and the roof on the house, but something looked different. I stopped and I'm like, holy shit. Looks like they got their windows done. And so I called them. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, it's Clifton. Just wanted to let you know I turned on your street. I'm going to visit Miss whatever. Thank you so much for the referral. Got a couple questions. How is everything? Everything is amazing, Clifton. You guys were great. Project manager was awesome. Crew was great. I said, hey, a couple quick questions. Did you have windows done on your home? And there was like this pause, followed by oh my gosh, Clifton, do you do windows? And so at that moment, I'm thinking, okay, we had done a great job installing the shingles, installing the roofing system, installing the siding. But guess what we had not done a good job of? And that is actually staying top of mind with our own client and letting them know what we actually did. It goes back to where we started the conversation. They had already forgotten about us. Mm-hmm. And so at that moment, I went back to my team and I said, look, here's what we got to do. We got to stop focusing on chasing the next deal from Google, that stranger. Let's figure out how we can take this job and that job and turn them into multiple jobs. And so we went down this process, or went through this process of how can we be different? And so we started with handwritten thank you cards. Then we started sending out gifts. Now, mind you, these gifts do not have our logo on them. Now, this is going to shake some people up. I've talked about this on multiple podcasts before and in audiences. Here's the deal, guys. Unless you're a lifestyle brand, your customers don't give a shit about your logo. Truly. Like, they don't have an attachment to your logo. You, the owner, have an attachment to your logo. You have the emotional attachment. Your customers don't care. And in fact, they don't want your shit. And what they actually know is that when we start sending out our company swag with our own logos on it, they know what we're doing. They know that that is a self-fulfilling self-promotion, not truly a gift of gratitude. They know that. And so what we did is we said, okay, how can we be different? We don't send them polo shirts. We didn't send them hats. We sent them just thoughtful, surprise, and delight gifts. We then launched a referral program, and somebody would give us a referral, and then all of a sudden they would get entered into our referral rewards program. They would get a gift in the mail. They'd get a handwritten thank you card. They'd get a gift card. And so the point of all of this is eventually we were spending less than 1% of revenue on direct response, spending more money on relationship marketing, and the ROAS, if you will, return on ad spend, but it wasn't an ad, but the return on the investment was significant. We generated 60 to 62% on average repeat and referrals in an industry, home improvements, that hovers around 15% as being the ceiling. And so my advice to any business owner, especially in 24, but then thinking about 25 and beyond, you've got to make a concerted effort and put in place a relationship marketing strategy. You have to. If you want to have long-term success, I don't want to be dependent on Google, Facebook, Angie's List, Home Advisor, Modernize, Best Picks, lead aggregators. Here's another thing that I think a lot of business owners miss. If I am putting out a bunch of paid ads, and now I want to preface this with this. I have a lot of friends that own digital marketing agencies. They do direct response ads, and they do a great job. You and I have some mutual friends that do a great job. And I'm not suggesting you don't need that strategy. What I'm suggesting is a relationship marketing strategy could be an incredible bolt-on with a pathway to be the majority of your marketing strategy. But, you know, the reality is we've got to think about how we can stop chasing those new deals, right? Because if you put an ad on Google, as an example, and that ad is converting, well, guess what your competition is doing? They're looking at your ad. Then they're going to replicate that ad. Biggest form of flattery is imitation, right? And so if your competition can see what you're doing to generate that direct response, they're going to emulate it. They're going to copy it. Guess what they can't do with a relationship marketing strategy? They're not sitting at every one of your customers' mailbox, opening the mail and seeing the thoughtful, surprise, and delight gifts that you're sending out, or the personalized e-newsletters that are showing up in your customer's mailbox or inbox. Your competition can't replicate that. And that is what's powerful about relationship marketing.
Man, this is so powerful. So you mean to tell me that that there's a better way, a much more long-term way to be sustainable in this marketplace of because everything digitalized, right? Everything's like digital now, automation, all this stuff. So it's kind of nice to see that you know direct mail still have a to me direct mail is it's one of the best way to market that people have not that people have kind of just like bypass it, because there's a huge opportunity here. Believe it or not, like you still check the mail. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you're a big whiz in whatever space it is. Your mail is gonna get checked. If not, your secretary gonna check it and be like, oh, look, is somebody gonna check? Somebody send you something right here. So it's got almost 100% chance of open rate versus email, right? And then the book or the lead has not been sold to 5 different company, and just to me, it's not a secret, right? This stuff across the industry has been implemented. There's big player that have implemented relational selling, relational marketing. All this stuff is not new science. This stuff been done since the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, right? It's just an old school way of, hey man, like this guy really take the time out to just sit down there and write something for me, handwritten note. Wow. It's the inconvenience. It's the scale, the unscalable per se, he's really take a time out and picked out this thoughtful gift for me. He's really take a time out So then it's leave a lasting impression on your mind, right? And hey, I'm a marketer. I don't knock digital marketing, but you know what I won't do? I won't pay 10% to acquire a client, especially if that's a 10% revenue. Um, I'll still spend a lot of money on it because I believe we can capture more attention and more qualified prospect. But how? So in my experience, since working with you, Clifton, uh, what you do, and if you do all the other things right, if you doing content, if you're doing uh, Google ad, Facebook ad, if you kind of I what I call omnipresent, then you will guarantee to catch all the interest if you have something working on the background too as well. And the side effect of the if you're sending gifts, sending handwritten notes, sending all that, those are nice things that nobody does with people, right? It make them feel a certain type of way. It's elicit a emotional response, emotional connection to you, right? So so if the frequency is frequent enough, okay, now you got a little buzz going on in the community about who you are because that's how people shop now. Like my wife, Jessica, she wants something, she go on West Omaha Mom Squad. Who's the best deck builder right here? Boom, 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 boom. And you know what? I just did a deck with Megan over there. She had a little baby girl, and she opened the mail. She see, oh, a custom candle kit, candle making kit, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then with a nice note from Ron, oh, thank you. And then she browsing the mom's group is on, people on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
And she see who's the best deck bro. But I happen to do another one over the other side of town, but it's still West Omaha Mom Squad.
Mhm.
Oh, deck bro. So this motherfucker been mentioned 2 times, 3 times. So now
Yes.
what they do is either they call me directly or they gonna forget about it because they're not ready. Life get in the way. But when they ready to do, they go on Google, they search in deck builder, bam, deck bro pop up again. Now it's 3 impression. Now, oh, I remember them. Now that might still count as a Google ad,
Mhm.
but it's been amplified 3 times,
Mm.
maybe more. I don't know.
Yes.
That's not really a way to quantify, but I want you guys to think about this for a second. It's not when I say I got a fuck ton of lead coming in, I do have a fuck ton of lead coming in. And is that because the SEOs are working? Yeah. Is that because the ads working? Yeah. But I think a lot of that is working too, is because we have something running in the background, just amplify the effort, right?
Mhm.
Amplify everything. And that is something that people can't copy me because those are my client, those are my relationship, those are my personal connection. And then even if people are like, okay, I want to do it, but it's you have to switch your mindset from being a go-getter,
Mhm.
which is if I spend this much on ad, I will get this much in lead. That's a go-getter. A go-giver is if I just do something nice to people, I know and I know and I know, and I will get paid tenfold in the future. But you can't expect that payment right away, right? So because you don't know how, you can't really measure the brand, and that's why it's so hard for people to do, is because I'm done with this job already. Why do I
Now I'm
have
going to
still?
move on, right? I'm going to move
Why
on to
do
the
I
next.
still have to pay? Uh, pay. I just. But what you pay for is you pay for that client to be your marketer.
Exactly. Exactly. And you mentioned something there about the mail. And here's the thing. Like, I mean, obviously you can't, your listeners can't see this, but like if you were watching this, I mean, the technology that we have. So check this out. So again, you talked about people in the mail. So you open this up, and you said earlier, better than a text, better than an email. And you're right. 99% of mail gets opened. Right? And so the technology that we've invested in, it is labor intensive to write by hand, but the technology that we've invested in through the autonomous robotic technology market is phenomenal. So much so that an actual robot holds a pen and it is programmed to press down at various pressure points and move and space and have little nuances of human handwriting. So it's not just printed on the card. And so people love getting these. Now, one thing you mentioned about measuring, because there's a lot of clients come in, and one of the objections is, well, how do I know it's working? It's a great question. So depending on the type of program that we put together for the business owner, I mean, some of the cards and a sequence may show up and it may be customized with a QR code that directs them to a landing page to collect reviews. So we can look at that on the analytics side of things, how much traffic is going to that. We also have a digital referral rewards program. And I want you to think about this for a moment and follow me down this journey. So let's say that Mrs. Smith is one of your customers, Luan. You do her deck. You understand the power and the value of relationship marketing. So after the Smith job, you reach out to us, or we say, all right, this job has been completed. Are we going to enroll them or activate them into our Customers for Life or Building Raving Fans program? And you give us the go ahead. Okay, so imagine an initial email goes out to Mrs. Smith just saying, thank you, welcome to the family. Okay, then this automated handwritten thank you card shows up. It just expresses gratitude. And then a few days later, that customized card shows up with the review us. Did we earn the right to a 5-star review? Click here. Then an email goes out to Mrs. Smith that talks about the power of referrals. And if we have an embedded link in that email that drives them to a custom design landing page for your brand, now Mrs. Smith, we give Mrs. Smith the easy way to refer somebody to Deck Bros. All right? So let's say Mrs. Smith lands on that custom designed Deck Bros referral landing page. We run a campaign in the background, so there's a gift involved, but follow me. Mrs. Smith enters her information into that landing page. She then enters Mrs. Jones's information into that landing page and clicks submit. You, the business owner, then get alerted with Mrs. Jones's contact information that says, you've been given a referral. Mrs. Jones, here's her contact information, and here is who referred Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Smith. Then Mrs. Smith gets an automatic handwritten thank you card for the power or for the referral. You can include a gift card into that mail if you'd like. You don't have to. But now how does Mrs. Smith feel about referring Mrs. Jones? Very good. And we've got the analytics and the reporting on the back end of that to say, in this month, you had 100 people go to your referral page. You generated 10 leads. So we do have the ability to track some analytics as well. But man, the stuff we have working, man, for business is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's powerful, man. I'm just trying to process this. This is like a lot of information at once, but I should say that you should do something for your client, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Because I believe in surprise and delight. I believe in because you want to evoke a emotional feeling about your brand, and brand is emotion, right? Brand is not the XYZ. Brand is emotion. When you think about Nike, you think about emotion. When you think about Audi, you think about emotion. And the more luxury the brand is, the more comfort you feel. You just feel more comfortable. So you want to elicit a certain type of emotional that's associated with that strong brand. And that, what
And
is that?
don't forget that law of reciprocity,
Yeah.
right?
And
I've given you something, you're doing it because for the right reasons with
mm,
the right heart posture, but now that person inherently feels as though now I owe Luan something, or I owe Chad something, or I owe Clifton something, or I owe Josh something. Here's the other thing I want to touch on for just a moment, Luan, is, when you think about making people feel good, I believe that if you have the power to make someone's day, you absolutely should and must, right?
100%. And
And yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, man.
I was also going to just share that when we're talking about these marketing concepts, these marketing strategies, if you're a business owner listening to this podcast, I want you to ask yourself, do you want to be competing one to many? In other words, there's many competitors and you're one of them out trying to attract a bunch of different people? Or do you want to have a one-to-one that leads to many relationship?
Mm, mm. Woo, woo. So let me see if I get it right. So you want to be alongside of one too many, that many go to even many, but you already have the no like and trust of that many, which is your ex client, right? Not ex client, which is your client, right? And
When they're a client for life. That's why we call them the customers for life programs.
right, and then so so when so other people usually ask, so how you know the brand is working? Um, here's how. You go in and it's a lay down sale. Okay, it's like you getting a job. I just want you to know that before that's called brand.
Yes.
You're not gonna go in a stranger home and sell like that. And sometimes it might not even be your business brand. Sometimes it's just you. It's your personal brand that they believe in why you do what you do, which is we're gonna tie that back into what you say earlier. So that's like I don't want to sit there for 2 hours to convince somebody that I'm the right solution for them. I want them to convince themselves, and where the hell do I find the money to work with Lauren? Now that's the place where you want to be, right? Because to me the best marketing is done when you don't have to do it. Because if I go out there and say, I'm the best deck builder in town, I'm the best marketer that we ever seen, you should hire me. That's sound egotistical, and you probably everybody gonna tune you out. But if
Yes.
you don't say anything, you don't really do anything, and all of a sudden other people tell other people that, man, you should go with this guy. You should go with this guy. Oh, why? Well, because he's just a good guy. He did my deck for me, but
Mm.
besides that, he's a great guy. Right. So when that happened, when you had that effect happen, and you can ask my sales guy this year, they experience it when they go on ride along with me. I don't suggest anybody do this, but when you know that it's a sales, and it might be 30 minutes that I walk out with a check. It might be 50 minutes that I walk out with a check. But all together, what I'm trying to say is, do not ignore how you show up in the marketplace.
Yeah, man. I wanna just this brings me back. I remember we used to get phone calls into our office, and this is how you know it's working as well. You said lay down sale. I remember getting phone calls that would say, "Hey, I know, I know you are 16 weeks out. I know you're not the cheapest. I want this sales rep and I want this project manager to manage my project." That is powerful. And it gives me chills thinking about it because it took us a while to get that. But when we truly harness the power and understanding of relationships, man, our business just, it was transformational. And here's the other thing. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and we've touched on it a couple of times about people not remembering you. And I shared with you and the listeners about an actual story about the referral and the windows. It proved to me, and I started saying this at that moment, and you've heard me talk about this. It's not our customer's job to remember us. It's our job to make sure they can't forget us. And if, as a business owner, you embrace that mindset, I can't make many guarantees in life, but I can guarantee if you embrace that and you adopt some of the things that we've talked about today, you will be successful.
Man, whoo, whoo. There's some hard hitting facts right here, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, the reality of the matter is, it's always start with you, right? It's always start with you and your business. And say if you have a business that produce subpar result, you don't want people to go market that for you, right? So uh, this is if you believe that you are the best solution in the market for your client, then why not just let them be the evangelist for your brand? Why you keep that a secret? Why? And if you say you care so much about the customer, god damn, they spend $35,000 on a siding job on a deck and you can't send them a $30 gift. Like, who the fuck you think you are?
Exactly. And then you get upset when you're like, man, we don't have any leads. Well, let's look at ourselves in the mirror. What have we done to pour back into the people that have already invested with us?
And even if you send them like four gifts a year, let's play this math out. That's $120. You know what's the average cost of an appointment if you sell high ticket on Google and Facebook? And please do not argue with me on this. I run a lot of ads. I know the number. So if you're talking about $10 appointment, don't even talk to me. It's about 250 to 400 appointment,
An
depending
appointment.
on how strong your brand is, depending on what is your online reputation, depending on a lot of factors, maybe your ad copy, but usually average about 250 to 400, right? And this is 120, and for four impression, not one click, four impression, and forever the gratitude that they have for you, because you can do the referral or whatever, but I don't ask people anything. I'll ask when it's the right time, and we do that by running ad, because then they know it's an ad, right? But if I'm giving, I have nothing attached. I have none of my logo. I have none of that shit, right? I'm giving just because I want to give. And when you can get into that reality, in that mindset, in that perspective of running a business by being a giver first, and I'm not saying just go ahead and give the whole house away when you got sales. Sales different. Sales, you gotta make your number. You gotta survive. You gotta make a profit, right? But I'm talking about, providing value before the sales is accomplished, and this is one of the ways to do that. Depositing goodwill. All a lot of people, the simple thing is there's a hang door hanger to have like $5, $10 gift card. You can do it. There's so many ways that you can change the way you show up in the marketplace, change the way you appear into the marketplace, change the way the people perceive you. So, and hey, Clifton, thank you so much for talk really deep about this topic, because I think that the listener need to know the power of this, because I'm a simple guy, right? I don't get all the crazy marketing concept, but the one concept that I know from just living, right? Who do doctor hang out with? I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess doctor.
More doctors.
Well, who is the money manager gonna hang out with?
More money managers,
More
right?
money manager. Who's the lawyer hang out with? More lawyer. Who's doctor hang out? More doctor. Who's tech guy hang out? More tech guy. Who's recruiter hang out with? Recruiter. And who's sales guy hang out? More sales guy. And those are your ideal client, right? And why not work on them?
Exactly.
Why not work on them? Like, you don't need to insert, many crazy different filter. As so and so, they're motherfucking doctor because they told you. So target them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too simple. It can't be that easy. It's kind of
Simple
is.
scales, brother. But too
Yeah.
too often high performers and entrepreneurs actually turn away from simple because they're like, man, that's simple. That's too simple. That can't work. Simple scales. But I want to just, I know we're coming up on the end of our time here, but I want to just share something as well, which I think is hugely important. Because in business, specifically in the home improvement, home services space, there's a lot of ego running around, man. Oh, we did 20 million, and all these top line numbers, right? Revenue. Here's the reality. Revenue is for vanity. Profit is for sanity. Because if you're only focusing on revenue and you're not focusing on profit, the bottom line, you're going to go insane. And the reason why that's important and something I wanted to highlight here is because when you invest in a relationship marketing strategy, guess what happens? The people buy at a higher rate, higher price, which means a higher margin. Because if they convert at a higher rate, in other words, your closing percentage goes from 30 to 50%, and you charge your ACV, your average client value increases because there's no objections. They know you're going to do a great job because you were referred. Now you make more profit. Now you've built a business that you love instead of hate.
Mm. So good, so good. And man, the average, that's and then one other thing is so you're saying that, you know, there's a saying in sales where referral good money. Referral money is good money, right? And then especially when you do this stuff right, is when brand attract, right? Marketing is chase, sales is one-on-one. So when you can attract the type of client that you want, sales gonna be easier because they already know who you are. They already saw your brand like 7 times. They already interact with it. And then which which is so digital marketing, and all the lead pros can be mad at me, had a diminishing return. It's got a linear path until right here. Cheese. And then the lead costs go way high and you're actually getting way less. And that line will flatten out up to a certain point. So you have to have another forces that neutralize that. and you can still keep spending on ad. That's okay. I'm not saying don't, because I believe in the ROI model, but you have to have uh, something else to neutralize that, and that's this word of mouth. And how do you weaponize, engineer word of mouth? Is you have to make your client raving fans of you. You have to make them talk about you. You have to make people come to you. So then you have the other line go down, down, down. It'll bring the whole lead cost down, down,
Exactly.
down, down. Right. So I I did maybe 3% last year in marketing costs, but I'm very aggressive in taking the market. So could I spend 1 or 2%? Probably, but regular company, I know they spend about 7 to 10%. So
Yeah, in the home improvement space, I mean, we were a little bit of an anomaly. It sounds like you are as well. But yeah, I mean, we know people that spend 7 to 10 to 15%. And here's why. Because they're too busy chasing the next deal, right? One other thing I want to leave everybody with this, and that is, we talked about your company swag and your company logo and sending gifts with that. If you send your customers some like thank you mail, and it's got a gift card in there, but it's a gift card from your company. Stop. Like if it's a gift card that says, hey, here's a gift card on your next purchase. Again, your customers know what you're doing. Give them a gift card. If you build a deck, give them a gift card for $100 to Home Depot so they can go buy a plant stand or a small patio table or something. So now they can actually use the space that you just built for them. So again, we could talk about the psychology of these gifts and what not to do, but we've unpacked a lot of things that I believe, Luan. Thank you again for having me on today. I believe that the marketplace in general, especially in home services, needs to hear this more. Needs to hear that there are ways to lower lead costs, increase closing rates, increase average client value, and increase profit margins. And so I want to just extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to you for having me on today to share what's worked in my own business and now what we do at my company, building raving fans for all other businesses. So thank you.
man, Clifton, thank you so much. This is an awesome episode, and I wish we'd stay on forever, but I, as you know, me and you can talk about this stuff all day, and how to improve client experience a little bit by little bit. But basically, if you do some of the stuff that we talk about here today, you are 90, I would say 99% ahead of the competitor, even some of the big guys, right? Because you are now unique. You are now you. You are now a brand of its own, right? So just want to leave everybody with that. And if you don't know what this episode mean, go back and listen to it again and again and again
Share
until
it with somebody else.
until it beat into your head, and at that point your mindset gonna change.
Yeah. And if you have any questions about it, feel free, reach out to me. Love to have a conversation with you. buildingravingfans.com. Hit me up.
All right, I will put this information when I release the episode, and for now, ciao.
You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you find this episode helpful, or if it changed your life in a positive way in any manner, please share with another friend, tell another friend about this podcast, or even contact me if you're a construction business owner that have a great story to tell. Please do contact me. Again, thank you. Until next time.
I see him on the gram while they flexing rubber bands. I'm working on my foreign exchanges.